defeat for Hartlepool, but all eyes at the weekend were on Darlington. How would the Quakers cope with a new man at the top? All change at Feetham's, and we're not just talking about the manager. Hull had brought just the one strip, so Darlington dug out their away kit when the ref spotted the colour clash. Tommy Taylor's replaced Gary Bennett till the end of the season, but he couldn't bring a change of luck. Craig Liddell seemed to have got the ball first, but referee Mike Lowe gave the penalty. Gary Alexander put away his 10th goal of the season. Hull were down to 10 men when David Beresford saw red for a foul on Alex Shannon, but there was no way back for the Quakers. That's 4 defeats in a row, just 1 point from the last 15. Plenty of work for Taylor and assistant Mick Tate.
I just had a word with them before the game, said all the best to them, and went in half-time just to listen to what Mick was saying to them. And gone in the dressing room, heads a bit low, but we've got to pick them up and start afresh.
Well, at least it's moving in the right direction for Darlington's new manager. Tommy Taylor gave Paul Campbell his first start of the season, and he put the Quakers ahead at Halifax after 16 minutes. But the lead only lasted 6 more. Veteran Neil Redfern showed he's still got plenty left, though Darlington claimed offside. There was no doubting the Quakers' determination to end a 4-game losing run. Helped by some decidedly average defending, Neil Wainwright bludgeoned his way through and left his team with 19 minutes to hang on to a 2-1 lead, which they managed. It was stoppage time that did for them. Ian Fitzpatrick got the run of the ball and the time and space to chance his arm for the equaliser. But Taylor thought it was definitely better. Tommy Taylor locked his Darlington players in the dressing room for 20 minutes after this match. Shaney's side collapsed 20 minutes from full time. Darren Moss hammered Shrewsbury in front with a great strike, and the Quakers conceded another 2 goals in 8 minutes. Alex Jennings challenged Luke Rogers in the box. So Nigel Jensen challenged keeper Andy Collett from the penalty spot and won. Collett then had a shocker. He was caught out by the pace of Rogers, who rounded off a convincing win. There was still more misery for the visitors when Barry Conlon saw red for 2 bookable challenges. His first tackle was not too clever, and nor was his second challenge. And so off he went. A sad end to a dismal game, and Darlington without a league win now in 8 games.
Former Newcastle Oxford boss Mark Wright was left moaning this was another game his side had dominated and lost, but his own goalkeeper Ian McCulven was still pretty busy. Darlington midfielder Brian Healy only met his teammates an hour before the kick-off after signing from Torquay on a Friday afternoon, and in his first match for nearly 3 months he headed the goal that gave the Quakers their first win in 10 attempts.
Darlington rode their luck at Kidderminster and took the lead 9 minutes into the second half. Richard Hodgson floated in the cross, Paul Campbell found the net with a firm downward header and then milked it for all it was worth. Kidderminster were desperately unlucky not to snatch an equaliser as chances came and went. The best fell to defender Scott Stamps. He saw his header hit the post and then roll agonisingly across the face of goal. It was Darlington's day.
Darlington had 3 new signings on parade against Rochdale last night, and they helped Tommy Taylor's side to a 3rd win in a row. We'll start our roundup at Feetham's.
Things not to do right in front of the referee. Number 1, don't headbutt your opponent. Kevin Townsend did and got sent off. Hartlepool old boy Ian Clark was making his debut for the Quakers. He earned the match-winning penalty, and he put it away as well. Good start for him. Good win for Darlington.
Fan, this is the moment you've been dreading. If other results had gone for them, a win at Scunthorpe yesterday could have seen the Quakers move into the last of the playoff spots. Instead, they suffered their worst defeat for more than 30 years. Darlington haven't suffered humiliation like this since Doncaster walloped them 10-0 back in 1964. Playing the last hour with 9 men had something to do with it. So did referee Paul Alcock, who gave Barry Conlon his second red card of the season. Martin Carruthers with Scunthorpe's first goal. Steve Torpey looped in the second, and then the wheels came off. Alcock ruled this challenge a penalty. Peter Beagrie, 3-0. And what's better than being 3 up against 10 men, or being 3 up against 9? Mark Ford went for that tackle. Darlington number 2, Mick Tate, was sent off into the stands. The ref was a drama queen, said manager Tommy Taylor, who threatened to keep his team off the pitch for the second half. By then, there were 4 down, Carruthers with his second. As you'd expect, things only got worse. Gareth Sheldon kept his nerve to make it 5. Then Torpey at the far post knocked in number 6. Taylor called it all a waste of time. At least the 9 men did pinch one back. Good running and an even better finish from Dan Chillingworth, his first goal since arriving on loan from Cambridge. But Richard Kell made it 7-1. And if we know the FA, Tommy Taylor might not have heard the last of this one.
Both congregating at Feetham's.
It could only get better for Darlington after last week's 7-goal nightmare. Local rivals York felt the backlash. Ian Clark turned the Quakers into the lead after 21 minutes, but last week's villain turned out to be this week's hero. Barry Conlon was sent off at Scunthorpe, and he made his old club suffer for it yesterday. The striker was in a cooler frame of mind this Saturday. Real composure, cracking finish. No shortage of entertainment, though Paul Heckingbottom didn't find this too funny. A novel way of trapping the ball. Then to cap it, Andy Collett upended Lee Bullock for the penalty, but the farce wasn't over. Chris Brass pulled his kick well wide, leaving York grassed right off. Back to the Barry Conlon show, and another emphatic finish coming up. He just smacks this one in the far corner, no bother. Conlon still lives in York and was obviously rather enjoying himself. Now hardly a game goes past for the Minster men without Michael Proctor doing something impressive. He's on loan from Sunderland. This consolation, another memo to Peter Reid.
Getting through to the third round. 5 non-league teams were still left in the competition, amongst them Altringham, who met Darlington at Moss Lane. Commentary from Barry Davis.
Moss Lane, Altrincham, a scene of rekindled memories and future ambition, with the locals hoping that their team today will live up to the cup deeds of the 70s and 80s, when the Robins chirped with the mighty. 2 34-year-olds, Mark Sartori and Kevin Hume, who've been most around the league circuit, provide the experience. 19-year-old Ian Craney, the youthful promise. And they look to the head and feet of Rod Thornley for the goals, 22 so far this season. His working hours are spent laying on hands at a higher level, some 6 miles away from here as the masseur at Manchester United, and when required for England. It was the withdrawal of United from this competition a couple of years ago that gave Darlington the distinction of playing in round 3 as lucky losers, having been beaten in round 2. They're managed now by a cup winner from 1975, Tommy Taylor, then of West Ham, and offer in their lineup Brian Atkinson, a runner-up who played for Sunderland against Liverpool. And there's no lack of wise heads in there, or indeed pace. Their last away match brought a 7-1 defeat. But while league form counts for nothing in cup football, the loss now of their leading scorers, Conlon and Ford, both sent off in that match, is a cause for concern, not to say irritation. Bernard Taylor, the manager of Altrincham. The team placed 3rd in the Unibond League Premier Division against the 11th best side in Nationwide Division 3. And it's Altrincham playing from right to left. From making the left lark had gone forward. Maddox head again. Paul's got a bit of it. On by Poland. And a mistake here might give a chance for Thornley! Just ran out of room. And conversation goes on between the goalkeeper and David Brightwell there. But he's quite quick, is Thornley, the goalkeeper. Bright, but Thornley just couldn't make it. It's a poor clearance. Poland, Thornley! Poland again. This is Hordes. support from Scots. More noise. Poland got a hat-trick in the replay in the last round against Lancaster. After a 1-1 draw here, Altrincham won 4-1. This incidentally their 6th match in the competition. Good play by Mellenby, who set it up, and the chance for Mellenby, goalkeeper comes to meet him nicely. It's nicely worked between Poland and Thornley. Goalkeeper committed himself, saved with his feet, spread himself well. Betts with the head, and nicely cushioned too. Maddox got to be careful with the bounce, and so is the goalkeeper. And the opening goal is scored by Chillingworth. Route 1 to success, really, the long ball down the middle, and the bounce deceived both defender and goalkeeper. Chillingworth between the two of them. He did a fitness test before the match. Manager will be very pleased that he passed it now. Had a quiet spell. Bounced off Hawes with some comfort. Sartori. That's a good save, really good save. It denied Hodgson. Got down very quickly when Sartori's effort to turn was exactly the opposite of quickly. Space left side, trying to hold the line, but Clark played the one side, and having had to get Furlong, he's done well. Didn't realise how well he'd done. The free kick is given against Carr. Promising position for Altrincham. Steve Hawes to take. Nobody on either post for Darlington. Only on the near. Oh, and a very, very good goal. The scorer buried underneath, but it's Maddox. Thumping header. And as in the first half, the balance of play has brought the deserved goal. But this time it's for Altrincham. Maddox meeting it very strongly, dead centre, but with such power that Collett couldn't get his hand to it. Actually went right over his fingers. Well, a bit more belief now, and a few prayers. Chance for Clark, and he's done well! Really good cross, and Wainwright puts Darlington back in front. Again, a powerful header, dead centre of the goal. And those who've made the journey down from the northeast are smiling again. Clark involved in the incident from which a free kick was given against him, which produced the Altrincham equaliser, supplies the perfect cross for the head of Wainwright to make it Darlington 2, Altrincham 1. He could come the other way. Easy to say that from up here, Jackson. This is Clark. Oh. Got the diverting header. And how many touches did he want? It's a victory for Tommy Taylor, who goes to meet Bernard Taylor Success for the League club. Final score, Altrincham 1 and 2.
Any manager says that he wants to play a team from outside the Football League will be lying. I wasn't looking forward to it. I've watched them twice and had them reported on once, and I knew it was going to be a very hard game.
Third division is a very hard division to get out of. You know, it's like pit ponies booting the way out, but realistically, when you get down to it, once we can get out of there, once we can get into the second division, we'll have no trouble going to the first. We'll be knocking on the door immediately.
And we got 1-1. Just thought if we could have held it a little bit longer, it would have helped us. But unfortunately, we didn't hold it long enough. I thought we did enough in the second half, though, to get something out of the game. And us as a Unibond side, playing a third division side, I'm disappointed.
You've got the new stadium nearly waiting for you for next season. Financially, a win like that will help, and the right draw in the third round.
Yeah, it will. The stadium's cost quite a bit late, but we've got that well underway. It's not the biggest stadium, you know, but it's one of the best. It's got escalators taking